So my name is Alex. I'm the founder and CEO of GameGenetics. And first of all, I would like to say, stop me anytime. If you have any questions, stop me, put your question, and we can walk through like what we found basically. So this is not a pitch about our company. I brought a few examples on how we do stuff basically. And so let me first introduce the company. So GameGenetics is based in Berlin. We're 35 people from 8 nations. And by now, we pretty much work with all the devs and publishers in free-to-play. So like we have 118 game publishers, like Ubisoft, like BigPoint, Meru, and many more. And we're not looking for the biggest portfolio, we're looking for the best portfolio. So like our portfolio is comprised of the cash cows of BigPoint and Meru and so on. And so today we're marketing a portfolio of 300 premium titles. To give you an impression like how big this can be, basically, we're delivering 18 billion gaming ad views per month, which is 6,500 per second. So on Facebook, on Google, on Bild.de, Axel Springer, on T-Online, on Web.de, in many, many countries. We started off a bit differently. Like first, we figured like we want to build a portal which is fully integrated. We're integrating browser games into portal, single sign-on, single payment, so on. That didn't quite work as we wanted it to work. We still have the portal. The portal has become fairly big in the meantime, but we shifted from B2C to B2B. And let me explain how we do distribution and what metrics really matter. Yeah. Of you guys, like who's interested in diving deep into metrics or more like strategic subjects like media partnerships versus Google advertising? Any ideas? Okay, so let me just continue basically. This is how we started. So we talked to many, many game developers in the beginning. This is 4 years ago basically, and said, if there is a partner that supports you, what should that partner do basically? And pretty much everyone said like, okay, we know about game development, but distribution, marketing, performance marketing, all these things we can do, but like we're not really excited about. So this is how we started, and we distribute through portals, gaming sites, social networks. Mobile we're starting with, and the next one is television, which I'll talk about later on. So like a whole mix of channels, some performance channels, some media partnerships, and basically we want to reach out to any channel possible and provide them with the best free-to-play games. Everything we do is based on our distribution technologies. Like we never stopped investing into our platform basically, and the platform you can't see, obviously. But the platform also serves people like partners like Telecom, for example, to deliver their games through us, through our partnership. And this is our technology. It looks very simple, but like we're collecting billions of data, and it's quite complex, let me tell you. So channels. Like if I'm a game developer, I'm asking myself, where can I get relevant users? Yeah, and oftentimes it's a mix of things and channels that provides me with the best possible mix to find relevant users. What's a relevant user? It's not just a registration, it's an active gamer, and hopefully that active gamer also pays. Yeah. So what we do, but we're not the only ones, there's a couple of players out there. We're tapping into all the channels that we have and put traffic into a certain game, let's say Electronic Arts, and then measure almost like on an hourly basis the performance. So the first things we see is like landing page conversion. Yeah? We know that a good landing page conversion is between 10–25%. If it's more, there's a likelihood there's fraud or incentivized traffic basically. And so our system tells us like there's a fraud alert, which might not be the case because some channels perform really great, like Bild.de, for example, a lot of organic traffic, and we sometimes see 40–45% landing page conversion, and which is okay, of course, but oftentimes the typical corridor is between 10–25%. Now, Google, Facebook performance channels work very differently. Yeah? we buy traffic on behalf of game developers and monitor click rates, for example. Yeah, and we always like measure like what's the eCPM of a certain game basically. Now affiliate gaming networks, there's a couple out there. You have media partnerships like ProSieben. Yeah, ProSieben can put you on television basically, and that's a media partnership. Gaming websites like Games.de, browser Games.de, and so on. And as I mentioned before, television. Yeah. Now, a couple of metrics here. First, like when we adapt like a new game into our portfolio, we want to know like what type of game is it, and we talk very intensely with the game developer and say, tell me about your game. Yeah, genre, setting, similarities to other games, so we get a feeling for the target audience basically. Then of course it comes to marketing budgets. Say like, okay, what's the payout? What's the cost per lead CPL or cost per player CPP? That differs by, is it a browser game, is it a client-based game, is it single sign-on, is it double opt-in? There's a wide range basically. So we try to understand, what are the budget parameters of a certain developer. Click-through rate, languages, countries, what's your country mix? Yeah? Do you need traffic, recs for a certain country or language or a certain region basically? What's the overall budget? Yeah, is it like 5,000 euros or is it 50,000 euros? Or like, should we do a promotion over 3-4 months? Yeah, that differs highly. Daily caps, like even if a game developer doesn't say to us, okay, cap the budget for us to be on the safe side, we do. Yeah, so like channels that we don't know, we cap and say like $100 per day, just to make sure like we get relevant data, and like after 5 days or 7 days, we have first traction and say, okay, that's actually good traffic, and we can ramp up the traffic. Now the conversion funnel, like almost everyone knows by now, but let me just quickly go through that as well. Landing page conversion is like how many people register on a certain landing page. Yeah. Activation, which is even more important. Yeah? Like users that registered, do they come back? Yeah? Have they finished the tutorial? What's the conversion there? And finally, most importantly for a game developer, how much revenue are they making? Yeah? And now, when it comes to optimization and channel mix, it's important to close that loop and say like, okay, of the people that might eventually pay, where have we found them? Do they come from Bild.de? Do they come from Web.de? Do they come through Facebook, through us? And to really understand and go like really, really deep, what's the best channel mix? And if I listen to the starting panel today, that's the key question today in the market, to say like, okay, I don't want to spend a lot of money for just users. I need to understand my cost efficiency and the best possible channel mix. And we can say, working with other game developers and publishers on that topic, but the market is not really there yet. Yeah? This understanding, a deep understanding of like how to make sense of my data is just starting, let me tell you. So this is the funnel. It hasn't changed over time basically, but where am I happening basically? Where do I show impressions? Is it Facebook? Is it Web.de? How many people click? What type of people click? Yeah, whom am I targeting basically? Am I going through, let's say, keyword clouds on Facebook, or do I put my ads on fan pages, for example? And then all the way through from registrations, through activations and payment, and go back. And so like, it's an ongoing process to say like, what's happening in the channel mix. Now this is a chart of one developer in our network, and we track like how many recs per day over what time basically. And what you can't tell here is like, because we're a blind network, what channels basically contributed to this mix of users. Yeah? And what you also can see here, how many languages, how many countries. But this is what we monitor, and we also monitor internally in much more detail. Share this, some data we have, some data that a developer has. We exchange data on a daily basis and constantly optimize. Yeah? We call that performance marketing. A couple of data here. So this game, a single opt-in has a payout of €2, like a CPL cost per player on average. Has great conversion, long-term budgets, which is easier for us to like optimize a certain game as opposed to like a small campaign which has $1,000 and lasts for 3 days, for example. And on all these issues, we work with 20, 30 developers every single day. We have workshops, like we disclose benchmarks in an anonymous fashion. We never call out the competitor by name, but say, Battlestar Galactica, this is your conversion on the landing page. Here's your peer group. Yeah, your conversion might be 8.9%, and you should really be between 12 and 14% maybe. And we looked at your landing page, and we can tell you, it's too heavy. It loads not fast enough. It says 5 times free of charge. 2 times is enough. Facebook Connect is missing, and so on. So we go really deep, which leads to sometimes a developer taking off the landing page, reconstructing it basically and putting it back online, and then like conversion jumps, basically. Now this is a little bit the future, but we look at mobile, for example, which we do, and television as channels. We just did Windows 8. Windows 8 is live. I think we're the only aggregator to show browser games within the Microsoft Windows 8 and Dell Windows 8 environment. So we look at all these kind of things as channels that we can offer to game developers and publishers to increase the channel options and to optimize the mix. Yeah? Because the more channels you have access to, the better you can optimize. You generate data, basically. And we try to complement what a single game developer is achieving by himself, basically. Now, our vision is for television. You sit on your couch, you have a beer, it's a great screen, high resolution, it's smart, it's connected. You might have some storage, attached to the television. You might have a Synology attached to it, distributed basically, but you play almost like a console game on your television, but it's a Wooga game, or it's a Zynga game, or it's a Big Point game. Yeah. So this very brief. A couple of examples how we do stuff, but basically we don't want to talk about us. We want to talk about like what's happening in the market. We're happy to have achieved like a leading position, but what we do every single day, like David and Steven and many more, is like reach out to our partners, tell them what's happening in the market, like share data, make it transparent, prepare decisions, like how to optimize the marketing mix. But as we've heard many times today, like in various panel discussions, it's probably the topic as of today, because like driving down costs, controlling the CPL, CPC, making sure that games monetize and have enough money basically to put it back into marketing. So this is it basically. Thank you very much.